Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Sage Thyme. I am Lillian, and this is your moment. This is our moment. We're together. We're here. I am feeling the things. Are you? What's it like to open up a page and have the inner impetuous to feel like there needs to be something to grab you, to strike you, to pull you in, and then it not to happen? Did you feel this moment of, not my video, pause and delete? Or did you stick with it out of intrigue? What's she gonna say? Is she interesting? Is this worth my time? Or did you take that moment where I was taken by the moment as well and allow yourself to touch it and say, what is that for me? And what's here for me in this moment of silence? What is she doing? Lillian, don't you know how to do a video that's attractive to people, that pulls them in? Yeah, I do. And I know how to say things and carry myself and project ideas and so forth to convince people. And that's not what we're here for. I'm here to remind you to choose. And sometimes you might choose to let somebody else's energy, somebody else's understanding and perspective to carry you and direct you and guide you. And fundamentally, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. We are all moving in and out of stages of being taught and then teaching, guiding and being guided a lot of times at the same time, right? Especially when you're tapped into multiple dimensions at the same time. And don't even get me started on the timelines. No. I'm here to open up the message of what is right now, as is correct for you. And how do you be in that? I ask myself that all the time. I ask Spirit, how do I be in this moment? Because I don't know what this moment is. I don't know necessarily what I'm supposed to do, or who I'm supposed to be. The latter one, that one I've got some handle on that. But even so, because Spirit doesn't always want me to be calm and peaceful. That's the part of the design of my soul in this incarnation, in this lifetime, is to be more than that, and to be all the things sometimes, to allow myself to be all the things sometimes, to maintain heart presence and anchor in whom I choose to be within that, my intention. And then allowing Spirit to guide that and move that. And that type of peace flow, flowing in and with the river, the Wu Wei, our old paradigms of controlling mechanisms really get rigid and zingy in that. And we might even think like, oh yeah, I'm surrendering. I'm in flow, but looking for those ways to control that and stay in that flow, stay in that zen, that peace. And that's not what we're here for. We're here to experience all the experiences, amongst other things. There is so much love in this space of opening. To be in one's body in full presence of the witness and the witnessed, while staying within, being in that heart space that it's not exclusively, our presence doesn't exclusively stay zoned in this. This space is like home base. It's where we put our foot and say to everybody else, you can't tag me here. I'm on home base. And people go, oh yeah. And you're like, I'm on home base. I'm right here in the heart. You're not, and you're not, you're trying to put your foot on my home base. Go get in your own. All right. Now we can talk. Do you find yourself communicating with people more and more without words? In their presence, yes. I've been noticing also the psychic realm of communication and getting to know others who are in touch with the psychic realm and able to keep their foot on their home base. Even if they show up in a state of chaos, maybe they're dealing with family drama or work loss or living in a busy city or something. Maybe they're alchemizing many, many characteristics of emotional bodies and thought forms. But when they're holding that space, even in the psychic realm where their foot is on home base and my foot is on home base, and that opening from top to bottom, from 7 to 1, is clear enough that there is a flow from the cosmos down through the roots of the feet into the earth consciousness. I can feel my blossom, my blooming. It's such a silly word, but it's such an aesthetic, somatic, cellular experience. It's not visceral. Viscera is an organ, to be accurate. But it is cellular. And the energetics of the space that the cells are connecting to, that pattern within each area. When those are open to each other and I'm anchored in the heart and there's this blossoming, this unfurling, it feels like this. It feels like holding this space and meeting another in the invisible realms who is holding this space and reaching out and touching one another ever so gently and utterly in respect and honor. There is no greater privilege than that. And this is where the truths start to reveal themselves in the petals of my own bloom, in the petals of your own bloom, in the stem, in the leaves, and the roots that move down. They're open and they're flowing, and you can feel the different parts of your body now. Maybe not all the layers, but more and more layers, right? You can feel them because you've been to them and had conversations with them, heard their woes, their stories, their rages, their angst, their lies, their wishes, all the parts of you that have their own awarenesses. You've gone there, you've listened and loved, listened and loved, released, transmuted, released again, listened, loved, transmuted, released. Wash, rinse, repeat. And you've done it so many times that as those little microcosm areas of your body and being, the layers and levels of all your dimensions and energy fields have been attended to, the more we do that, the more you find yourself restructuring what that looks like within you. Whether you're visually creating that or doing it from a place of simply intention, the home base intention. The home base intention that connects us to the vast cosmos and its core seed of creation. And what is more powerful within the fundamental roots of creation than the intention of love itself? So we go to that place because we go to that place. And the more we go there, the more our various layers, levels, dimensions, microcosms, mini ecosystems within us, the more that those say, oh, I remember I used to be that. I used to be both the product and the creator, connected to those core fundamental codes of creation's intent, love. I'm going to create from love again, but I gotta clean out these rooms within me, within my little space. Maybe the space of the womb, maybe one of the spaces along the meridian of the root chakra or energy center, or many of the names that we can call it through many of the cultures over many eons of time. And so I keep choosing, we say. I keep choosing love. Well, what does that mean? It's a nice thing to say. And if I'm listening to somebody else protest for the favor of love, it can be really big and dynamic and energized, and it's fun, but damn, it's exhausting. Take a breath. Be in it. Even if it's big and energizing and bombastic, be in it. Let it move through you. And see what it has to say throughout all the different parts of you, and how that energy of big, dynamic, gotta go. See how that is received from all the different parts within your body, as you allow it to move through you, and it'll get stuck in some places, and those are the places that we focus in on and say, oh, left leg gallbladder meridian along my outer thigh down to the outside of my heel and along to, I think it's the second smallest toe is the gallbladder channel where it terminates. That channel, or parts of it, is a little pissed. It's backed up. It's not pissed, but the gallbladder and the liver, they're siblings in the dynamic of TCM, traditional Chinese medicine, and anger, or excuse me, the liver and the gallbladder, they work with anger emotions. And so if something's moving through the body that's just too much or unnecessary or no longer part of the greater design, we're going to feel things. That IT band that runs from that outside the lateral hip down to the lateral knee. My IT band kicked you. It can get angry, and it's along the gallbladder channel, and it can say, you know what, I'm not getting what I need. And there's a whole host of both spiritual, energetic narratives to explain it, as well as scientific and physiological, endocrine, hormones, the whole bit, including the liver, gallbladder, digest. I mean, it goes on and on. Everybody's a team with everybody. And that's the point. That's the point of co-creation. It's not about what I want. Yeah, I want peace. Yeah, I want this and that and all the things. It's about what works and how can we make it work together, all the parts of all the things of all the places that make up my universe. And then when I'm interacting in a universe called the outside reality, and all the little cells that are called humans and animals and flora and fauna, it's a little redundant. How am I working with all of them along the highways and the byways, the meridians, the energy centers, the cities and the farms, the geographic and geological pronunciations of our earth? How am I working with all of them? And who's pissed? Who's angry because they're not getting what they need? And I can feel that. I can feel that in my body, and I can feel that in the world around me. And when I take the time to slow down and not get caught up in the narratives and the enthusiasms or the angst or the anguishes of the programs that are trying to play themselves out honestly so that they can get attention. And then when they get attention, then they can say, oh, will you listen now? I'd like to dissolve, transmute, and release what's no longer needed and become anew. I don't want to be a program called misogyny or patriarchal system anymore. I don't want to be a program of narcissism is the popular thing, right? The popular weaponized target word. I don't want to be the program of poverty. And so we go, oh, okay. And then we start doing the work and everything. But then when we come against or we meet up with another program surrounding another person of poverty. Okay, hold on. We'll sip. And that program still kicks us, right? Kicks something up in us. We realize, oh, we had the intention and the imagination, and it was like a practice run, right? Like a simulation, because it was in our head, maybe a little bit in our body. Maybe we waited or did the work when those programs of poverty activated parts within us, our core, our kidneys, grief. We tried to go up in the head and figure all this shit out that needs to be figured out. Today's a cursing day. I don't know if you noticed. It is. We like it. And we tried to figure all those things out, or we didn't, and we let it go, and we did some work, and we transmuted and released the leftovers. But then we run into that person, and they've got a program surrounding them, and it's the same program. It's just developed. The pattern of it has different nuances to it. It's still a triangle, or pyramid would be a more accurate three-dimensional shape, but now it's got different little points and pokes, right? And if we're going to go big into like a dodecahedron, it's still a dodecahedron, but the lace interconnections and so forth are a bit different, but it's familiar. And if we've done the work enough, then we can meet with that program and the pattern of us that has transmuted it and created a new geometrical design that's no longer poverty consciousness, lack consciousness, then that geometrical pattern, that design that's vibrating and has its own combination of frequencies and resonance. It's an orchestra of multiple frequencies. It meets that other pattern and says ding 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 ding, and the other pattern goes and the patterns come together, and they kind of but if you've done the work enough, your pattern and that old pattern who's been like, oh my gosh, I've been waiting for somebody to see me. You can recognize me, right? Like, you've seen this, you've seen my shape, and you know what to do. And you're like, yeah, and your pattern says, yeah, I got this. And you hold steady because you've strengthened, you've done enough simulations in your own time. You've done enough practice to strengthen the muscles, shall we say, the infrastructure of your geometrical new shape that is transmuted beyond both, because to do that, we need to bring in the polarities. It's brought in the polarity of lack and poverty program with the polarity of excess and gluttony and never enough and greed, right? You brought those two polarities in, and you put them in a little Yahtzee cup, and you shook them up, broke them down to their particles, and then you said, oh, what shape would you take if there was love? And you're connecting with the greater cosmic design, who of course has more wisdom and foresight and has already figured the pattern out to some degree, and says, okay, well, we got this, and we hear and see what you need. So they're co-creating with you. You're co-creating with the old program that's within your body, in your left second smallest toe. And now you've created this beautiful, intricate, new pattern, geometrical design and shape that is within and around you, and the whole thing. And it touches that old one of another person, or maybe it's just floating around in the darn air, because that happens a lot. And your pattern touches that pattern, your thought form, knowingness, gnosis of, I am safe, I am in flow, I am in divine, clear and clean connection with the universe, and when I'm not, I am tuned in enough to catch it and bring it back. And if I can't bring it back, I am tuned in enough to sit my butt down and do the work. And how long does it take to do that work? Well, kids, it takes the time it takes. 40 days and 40 nights, we've heard this. In the Bible, Jesus went to the desert for 40 days and 40 nights, and that was when basically the story resembles or is anecdotal to going through the desolation of self and coming back awakened in a big way, in a way that his pattern could recognize other patterns, and then he could see the truer pattern within and around them, and their pattern would change, is a way to explain it, right? This is the narrative we're using right now, and it works. And it's incomplete because all narratives are incomplete. So you know this by now. But we go with all the different narratives to bring them all in together, right? We're not here about making anybody wrong, and we're certainly not here to make everybody right. We're simply here to learn and grow and listen and understand and choose in whatever place we can choose. And so 40 days and 40 nights. In Sanskrit, that was considered the number 40. And we hear it, sidebar, we hear it in other biblical stories. We hear it in other mythological stories throughout many cultures, many ancient cultures. And 40 in Sanskrit, the number is translated as it takes the time it takes. I've spent a lot of time with this because I remember years ago, it's like I'd been in this for decades, and then I'd been in the initiation for years of, for the most part, 24/7 work. There wasn't a lot of sleep going on, and then that changed, but constant for the most part. And I thought, I don't think that's very accurate. I don't think that 40 days and 40 nights is quite enough, even with a miraculous infusion of awakening biome and genetic transcription into fully evolved and awakened. It can happen, I suppose. But I was like, I think there's more to it. And then I came across, of course, because you know how the rabbit hole, when the rabbit hole, I was going to say the universe, but when the universe, when we ask a question, the universe goes, oh, you're curious. Let me take you down the rabbit hole to show you different options of different answers, and then feel into how you resonate with that. And then observe what you are interpreting that resonance means to you. Put a little note in a file in your brain and reference it later. Because what, we think is right now, we'll find out later is incomplete or completely wrong or a great start, and there's more. So 40 days, 40 years, 40 lifetimes. It takes the time it takes. And there's this incredible freedom when both the awareness of time and design are recognized as something both predetermined and co-collaboratively enhanced and worked with. There's this incredible freedom of letting go that attachment to outcome. So if I'm not, this is my question to myself and to you, if I'm no longer in a state of attachment to outcome, if I've let all that go, and I recognize that there really is a timing. I mean, Saturn is in our chart for a reason. It's structure. And there's timing. And the whole of astrology shows us that there is timing. and opportunity within timing and nuance within placement of those times and opportunities, then what's my part? Who do I choose to be? What's the point? And that's the point. Who do I choose to be? Who do I get to be? Well, I get to be who I choose to be, but that doesn't mean it's going to happen right away. Because if we're coloring outside the lines of our design, our pattern, our geometrically highest structural design, dimensionally and I was going to say multidimensionally and two-dimensionally, mathematically speaking as well, if that helps for your frame of reference. If I'm outside of the lines of that design, the highest life for me design that is in collaboration with the highest design of the world as a whole and all the little mini designs within, then it's going to take some effort and time. And by effort, I mean attention and repetition to choosing who I am and enhancing that. So my whole life, for instance, no, I don't want to give an example of myself. Let's just say that there's a person who has always had it together, almost stoic, controlled, but also really calm and strong. And then something happens in their life, like a big something that has a series of somethings, and it just crumbles them. And it breaks them. And they think, okay, I know life can do this. I've been through this before, these towers, these losses, destitute, grief, all the things. I know if I do the things, I can pull my life and myself back together and get back to that, what do we say, stoic strength. Kind of a patience that goes with it is what I'm feeling in the energy of this individual. But they don't. They do the things, they do the steps, and they even allow themselves to navigate changes that say, oh, don't do it this way anymore, do it that way. And they do all those things, and it doesn't work. And they try other things, it doesn't work. And they try other ways of other people, and that still doesn't work. And there's this sense of like, what the Frisco freeze? Why is it not coming together? And in that moment, they surrender and they open. And when they do that, they find that somehow in that incredible stoicism and controlled calm and strength and peacefulness, they had missed a lot of parts of who they are and were, and didn't see a lot of parts of who they were and the effects that they cause. And so they had gone way outside the lines of their mandala, shall we say. And so when everything crashed and fell apart, to get to the true pattern of who they were required an opening and a listening and a following of guidance and instruction. And that's a whole process. That's a whole thing. We've been talking about it. And when they come out the other side of that, and the skeleton of their mandala, shall we say, the basic lines and junctures and patterns start to show itself in a different way, they go, well, where's my calm? Where's my collectedness? I'm feeling angry. I'm feeling easily agitated, chaotic in my head. I can't be in my head. I got to be in my body, but the body hurts. When I go there, why does it hurt? It must be this diagnosis or that need for some shamanic expensive across the planet or the country adventure. And the universe goes, no, and yeah, pay attention. All you gotta do, pay attention. Breathe into it. And when you breathe into that space, bring your attention into that space. And the more you breathe, the more you realize I'm not that focused on that space that feels the anxiety or that feels the blockage. So you keep going to it and going to it. And this can take a long time, depending on the pattern of your incarnation here and the path that you're on, the destination that you're getting to. So this is where journey before destination comes in. Because if the destination is to create your most clean and clear, intricately, beautifully aligned, geometrical, mandala, multidimensional shape that is you, the shape that is exactly the perfect right shape for all the other little shapes and designs in our world. If that's your purpose, which I would dare say that is, I lost that train of thought. Then you got to get good at it. And getting good at refining those lines, those designs, requires incredible focus. And that incredible focus, of course, requires the stillness and the breath work and the courage, the bravery of being in the presence of what one might be experiencing really as their own or a massive collective's pain, agitation, despair, anguish, rage, fear. Oh, the fears, right, that come with poverty consciousness. To be able to be in the presence of sheer terror and to have it so loud, that terror, so penetrating that it defragments your physical self in a way, in a very real way. Not to mention the emotional and mental self definitely defragments that. And to be able to hold that concentration, even when you get pulled out of it, that focus of I am here, fear, terror, I am listening, keep going, keep telling me, tell me all of it, show me all of it, let it out, keep going, breathe, keep going. I am safe because right here, right now, I know and feel the eternal nature of my beingness, of my soul. There's nothing you can truly do. I'm listening. Rage if you need to rage. Crumble on the ground and shake and rock and sweat and be a mess of yourself. Scream out loud, silently, both. I'm here for it. I'm listening. I will not budge. Because when we do that for ourselves, within ourselves, we realize there is no greater courage. There is no greater strength. There's no truer warrior than the one that holds presence and stays focused and connected with whatever comes up, listens to it, loves the self while feeling it, I used to think to love it, to love them, to love the situation. And it's not that we're not doing that, we are. But what we're really doing, even when doing internal work with, say, this fear, terror kind of baseline building blocks of things like poverty consciousness, when we're present to it and we stick with it and we're devoted to it and we love, we blossom and bloom, and that already and continually cultivated heart awareness presence, that portal to cosmic creation love, the original divine mother of the universe. When we're doing that within ourselves, for ourselves, while witnessing anything that is just a distortion from that love for self blooms, and just like a flower, the fragrance hits every olfactory sense that walks by it, and it goes, and it may say, ooh, blooming love, smells like rose or geranium, jasmine. There can be affiliations, sure, but really it's, oh, that feeling, that memory. I'm holding it, I'm knowing it, I'm reminding it to keep blossoming. It doesn't just bloom and blossom and that's the end of it. It keeps opening and opening, and it's an internal, an eternal, internal expulsion, expansion, release, death, contraction, expulsion, expansion, release. And we do that in the face and in collaboration, in connection, in witnessing presence, powerfully, and in receptivity of feeling all the feels of all the things that isn't that, while holding devotional loyalty to it. That's the world changer. That's being the change you choose to be, you choose to see, you choose to co-create. Thank you, everybody. I'll be doing some card readings next. I look forward to seeing you, hearing from you, feeling from you, and knowing you exactly as you are, and in the choice of our own home bases. Much love to all of you. Talk soon.